The O.J. Simpson case, a tale of celebrity tragedy and courtroom drama that gripped the world. But what if O.J. Simpson didn't do it? Picture this. It's the mid-90s and the name O.J. Simpson is on everyone's lips. The former football superstar, now turned Hollywood actor, stands accused of a crime so heinous that it stuns the nation. The brutal murder of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. This was no ordinary case. The saga unfolded in the public eye, captivating audiences worldwide. Everyone had an opinion, with most believing in O.J.'s guilt. The media circus, the high-profile lawyers, the celebrity defendant, it was a spectacle like no other. And then, the verdict. Not guilty. It sent shockwaves through society, polarizing opinions and sparking discussions on race, fame, and the American justice system. But were we too quick to judge? What if the man everyone thought was guilty was in fact innocent? This video will explore this question, presenting evidence that may challenge the popular narrative. We will delve into the timeline of events, scrutinize the DNA evidence, investigate the rumors of Nicole's drug use, and revisit the infamous glove incident. We are not here to pass judgment or to claim that we have all the answers. Instead, we aim to provoke thought, to encourage you to question what you know, and perhaps to see the O.J. Simpson case in a new light. It's easy to get swept up in the narrative spun by the media and public opinion, but sometimes the truth is more complex than it seems. As we peel back the layers of this case, we invite you to keep an open mind. Consider the evidence, weigh the facts, and form your own conclusions. It's time to take a fresh look at a case that has captivated us for decades. Let's delve into the evidence indicating that O.J. Simpson might not have been the perpetrator. Consider the timeline of events on the night of the murders. Does it truly point to O.J. as the killer? Let's dive in and take a closer look. The prosecution presented a timeline that had O.J. committing the murders between 10 and 11 in the evening on June 12, 1994. Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were found dead outside Nicole's home in Brentwood. The prosecution based this timeline on several factors, including the time of the last phone call Nicole made and the noise of a dog barking at the crime scene reported by neighbors. However, the defense painted a different picture. They argued that O.J. was at his home in Rockingham, less than 5 minutes away, during the time of the murders. They presented evidence of phone records, a limo driver waiting to take O.J. to the airport, and testimony from Cato Kalin, a house guest who claimed to be with O.J. during the critical period. So let's think about this. The prosecution's timeline gives O.J. a very tight window. He would have had to brutally murder 2 people, dispose of the bloody clothes and weapon, clean himself up, and return home in less than an hour. All of this without being seen or leaving any trace of his presence at the crime scene. Not only that, but he would have then had to act completely normal in front of the limo driver, who arrived at his home shortly after the time the murders supposedly took place. The driver testified that O.J. was calm and collected, showing no signs of having just committed a double murder. And let's not forget about Cato Kalin's testimony. He stated that he was with O.J. during the time of the murders. If we believe Kalin, this would make it impossible for O.J. to have been at Nicole's home committing the murders. With such a tight timeline, could O.J. really have committed the murders and returned home without anyone noticing? This is a question that continues to puzzle us even 3 decades later. DNA evidence played a crucial role in the trial, but was it as damning as it seemed? Let's dive into the science behind the scenes. DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is often hailed as the infallible judge in crime investigations, the silent witness that never lies. But like any evidence, it's only as reliable as the people handling it. At both the crime scene and O.J. Simpson's estate, DNA evidence was collected. This included blood samples that matched O.J., Nicole Brown Simpson, and Ronald Goldman. Yet, from the get-go, there were issues with the collection and preservation of this evidence. It was a hot June day when investigators arrived at the crime scene. They collected the samples without waiting for the coroner, violating standard procedure. This premature collection could have led to the degradation of the DNA due to exposure to heat and sunlight. Moreover, the blood evidence at O.J.'s estate was collected by Detective Philip Van Etter, who carried it around in his pocket for several hours before it was booked into evidence. This delay in the way the blood sample was handled opened the door for potential contamination. Then there's the testing of the evidence. The Los Angeles Police Department's crime lab was known for its less than stellar reputation. In fact, they had been criticized in the past for their mishandling of evidence. Analysts at the lab conducted the DNA testing without changing their gloves between handling different samples, which could have resulted in cross-contamination. Furthermore, the FBI's analysis of the DNA samples found a higher level of EDTA, a preservative used in blood samples, than would be typically found in fresh blood from a living person. This led to the defense suggesting that the blood evidence could have been planted. So, while DNA evidence can be powerful, it's not immune to human error or manipulation. The mishandling of key DNA evidence raises serious questions about its reliability. Was it the irrefutable proof of guilt it was made out to be, or was it compromised by flawed collection and testing methods? The answer may not be as clear-cut as it seems. Nicole Brown Simpson's drug use is a lesser-known aspect of the case. Could it shed light on her tragic end? This is a question that few have dared to ask, yet it's one that might hold the key to unraveling the mystery that has gripped a nation for decades. Nicole's alleged drug use is a narrative that's often overlooked in the cacophony of other more sensational aspects of the case. Yet it's a narrative that could potentially have serious implications. There were whispers, murmurs in the dark corners of the courtroom suggesting that Nicole had accumulated a significant drug debt. This isn't something that was substantiated with solid evidence, but rather a hushed theory that circulated among those closely following the trial. As we delve deeper into this narrative, we encounter a chilling prospect. Could Nicole have been killed over a drug debt? It's a theory that paints a starkly different picture from the one that's been widely accepted. It suggests a world far removed from the glitz and glamour of Nicole's public persona, a world fraught with danger and desperation. Yet this angle was never thoroughly investigated. The spotlight remained firmly trained on O.J. Simpson, almost blindingly so. It's an oversight that raises important questions. What if Nicole was involved with dangerous people due to her drug use? What if these were the people who had a motive to harm her? We need to consider the possibility that Nicole's alleged drug use wasn't just a side note, but a crucial piece of the puzzle. It could have placed her in a perilous situation, one that ultimately led to her tragic end. The lack of attention paid to this narrative is an unfortunate omission that might have left us with an incomplete understanding of the events leading up to Nicole's murder. If Nicole was involved with dangerous people due to her drug use, could they have been responsible for her murder? This question remains unanswered, leaving us to ponder the possibilities and wonder if we've been looking at this case through a narrow lens. The glove found at the crime scene became a symbol of the trial, but did it really implicate O.J.? Let's delve into this crucial piece of evidence. The glove, a significant piece of the prosecution's case, was supposed to be the smoking gun, the undeniable physical evidence linking O.J. Simpson to the brutal killings. But as we look closer, the glove's story begins to unravel. The moment that dominated headlines was when Simpson tried on the glove in court. It just didn't fit. It was too small for his hand, struggling to stretch over his fingers and palm. This wasn't a minor detail. It was a glaring discrepancy. If the glove was a perfect fit, it would have strongly suggested Simpson's guilt, but it wasn't. There were also issues with the glove's condition. It had been soaked in blood, and some have argued that this could have caused the leather to shrink. But would it really have shrunk so much that it could not fit Simpson's hand? The defense demonstrated that the same style of glove, treated in the same way, did not shrink significantly. This raised serious doubts about whether the glove had ever fit Simpson. Furthermore, the defense questioned the manner in which the glove was found. It was suspiciously discovered by a detective with a questionable track record, adding another layer of uncertainty to its credibility. The glove became a focal point of the trial, a symbol of the prosecution's case. Yet it perhaps did more to exonerate Simpson than to implicate him. The holes in the glove's story, the size discrepancy, its condition, and the questionable circumstances of its discovery all cast a shadow of doubt over its role in the case. As Johnny Cochran famously said, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." This phrase echoed through the courtroom and across the nation, turning the tide of public opinion. It was a moment that encapsulated the doubts and uncertainties of the trial. A moment that questioned whether the glove, and by extension the case against Simpson, really held up under scrutiny.